Your brain has been hijacked. Every time you scroll, every time you click, every time you give in to cheap desire, you are wiring your mind to crave the lowest form of pleasure. And here's the brutal truth. A man who cannot control his desires cannot control his destiny. What if I told you the secret to clarity, focus, and power lies in desexualizing your brain? What if everything you think about self-control, motivation, and success comes down to one thing: mastering your dopamine system? Today, we're diving deep into the philosophy and science behind NoFap and dopamine detox, not as internet trends, but as tools of self-mastery rooted in Stoic wisdom. Stay until the end, because I'll reveal the most overlooked truth about desire that, once you understand it, will permanently change how you see yourself and the world. This is Stoic Power Codes. Let's begin. Part 1. The Brain Hijack: How Modern Life Destroys You. We live in an age of endless stimulation. The ancient Stoics feared luxury and comfort, but even they could not have imagined the traps of modern life. Instant access to pornography, constant notifications, the endless scroll of social media, and entertainment on demand. Here's what happens. Every click, every image, every burst of novelty triggers dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. Dopamine itself is not bad. It motivates us to pursue survival, growth, and reproduction. But in the modern world, it has been weaponized. Instead of working for rewards, we can get them instantly, cheaply, and endlessly. Your brain, once designed to find meaning in hard-earned victories, now floods itself with dopamine for nothing. Pleasure without effort, reward without sacrifice. This is the recipe for weakness. Marcus Aurelius warned, "You become what you give your attention to." When your attention is constantly chained to lust, distractions, and easy pleasures, you become a slave to them. Part 2. Why desexualization matters. At first glance, the idea of desexualizing your brain sounds extreme, but let's be clear, this is not about rejecting sexuality itself. Stoicism doesn't deny nature. Instead, it teaches us to master it. Sexual desire is one of the most powerful drives a man has. Left unchecked, it can consume him, but when directed, when harnessed, it becomes fuel for creativity, discipline, and strength. Desexualizing your brain means removing the artificial triggers, pornography, lustful scrolling, fantasies on demand that keep your brain enslaved. It's about returning sexuality to its natural place, not as a master, but as a servant to your higher purpose. Epictetus put it simply, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Part 3. The Science of Dopamine. Here's where philosophy meets biology. Dopamine is not about pleasure itself. It's about pursuit. It motivates you to chase rewards. But here's the trap. The easier the reward, the weaker the motivation. Pornography, junk food, social media, they all give massive dopamine spikes for minimal effort. Over time, your brain adapts. It raises the threshold for excitement. Suddenly, normal life feels boring. Reading feels boring. Working feels boring. Talking to real women feels boring. This is called dopamine desensitization, and it leaves men hollow, restless, and weak. The solution? A dopamine detox, not forever, but long enough to reset your brain's baseline, to remind your system that real rewards require effort, patience, and persistence. Part 4. The Stoic Way of NoFap. NoFap is often misunderstood. It's not about repressing yourself or demonizing sexuality. It's about reclaiming your energy. The Stoics were not strangers to this. Seneca warned about being ruled by lust. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to live with moderation, to avoid being entangled in pleasure. They understood that a man addicted to his urges cannot rise above them. NoFap, in the Stoic sense, is not about bragging rights. It's about redirecting that immense energy toward discipline, fitness, purpose, creation, and mastery. Think about it. How much time, how much energy, How much mental focus has been stolen from you by compulsive desires? Imagine what you could build if you invested that same energy into your mission. Part 5. The power of a dopamine detox. A dopamine detox is simple but brutal. Remove the cheap rewards. Cut off porn, endless scrolling, junk food, video games, gossip. Allow your brain to reset. At first, it feels painful. Your brain craves stimulation. You feel restless, anxious, even depressed. But this is withdrawal, the sign that your mind is recalibrating. After days, sometimes weeks, you begin to feel different. A walk outside feels refreshing again. A conversation feels meaningful. A book feels engaging. Reality becomes vivid again. The Stoics practiced this through voluntary discomfort. Seneca would eat coarse bread, sleep on the ground, and remind himself, "Is this what I feared?" By abstaining from pleasure, you strengthen your willpower. A dopamine detox is the modern version. It teaches your brain to find joy in simplicity, strength in discipline, and focus in silence. Part 6. Desire as a double-edged sword. Here's the overlooked truth. Desire is not your enemy. Desire is energy. The problem is misdirection. When you pour your desire into screens and fantasies, it drains you. When you channel it into fitness, work, mastery, or building your legacy, it transforms you. Marcus Aurelius asked, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" That question applies to every desire. Is this action helping me grow, or is it enslaving me? The man who desexualizes his brain doesn't kill desire, he commands it. Part 7. The hidden benefits of desexualization. When you stop feeding lust constantly, unexpected benefits appear. Your confidence grows because you are no longer controlled by urges. Your focus sharpens because your brain is not scattered by distractions. Your social presence increases because you stop seeing people as objects of gratification and start seeing them as human beings. Women notice this shift. They sense the difference between a man who is desperate for validation and a man who carries his energy inward, contained, controlled, directed. The latter is magnetic, not because he chases, but because he doesn't need to. This is not theory. This is lived reality. The Stoics were respected because they lived above common temptations. When you desexualize your brain, people sense your power. Part 8. How to begin a practical Stoic plan. So how do you actually start? 1. Cut the triggers. Delete pornography. Unfollow accounts that exist only to tempt you. Remove the easy dopamine sources. 2. Replace. Don't. Just. Remove. Nature hates a vacuum. Fill your time with training, reading, building. Replace lust with creation. 3. Practice voluntary discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, silence. Train your brain to be okay with discomfort. 4. Reflect. Daily journal like Marcus Aurelius. Notice your urges. Don't hide from them. Study them. 5. Seek purpose. Without a mission, you'll always fall back into indulgence. With a mission, every urge becomes fuel. Part 9. The final truth about desire. Here's the truth most men never learn. The opposite of weakness is not indulgence, and the opposite of desire is not suppression. The highest form of strength is mastery. The Stoic doesn't run from desire. He stands before it, looks it in the eye, and commands it. He uses it as fuel for his path. Desexualizing your brain, practicing NoFap, and resetting your dopamine are not just hacks. They are modern tools for the timeless goal of Stoicism, freedom from slavery, whether to fear, to anger, or to lust. If you're tired of being ruled by your urges, if you're ready to reclaim your mind, your focus, and your strength, start today. Remove the distractions, rebuild your discipline, become the man who commands himself. Because the truth is simple, the man who conquers his desires conquers the world. This is Stoic Power Codes. Subscribe and keep walking the path of mastery, resilience, and inner freedom.